Thomas, would I be right in saying that as a coach, your assessment of the first 45 minutes would be very different from the second 45 minutes?
Yes, it was, and it is. You're absolutely right. Me personally, I was absolutely not happy with the first 45 minutes. There were individual performances that were already great, like from Kepa. Thiago was already very, very good in first half. Like even more players were like good, but in general we lacked intent, we lacked energy, and we lacked to be more relentless in duels, to be more to decide 50-50 balls for us. I had the feeling that we want to impress by pure skills, but a game like this in Premier League and the Derby and in Tottenham is not only about skillful play, it's also about aggression, it's about winning duels, it's about like performing better as a team. We lacked energy, we lacked it simply, and we spoke clearly about it at half-time. Second half was a very good performance and a well-deserved win in the second half, and so it was a very good reaction. I'm absolutely happy with the performance in second half.
You made the change at half-time, Mount Kante. Yeah. Do you think the turnaround in the second half was down to the tactical change or a different mentality from your team that you just alluded to?
I mean, yeah, it was like a hard decision for Mason, and it seemed to be a bit more defensive from Mason to N'Golo. But I wanted to give the sign from the talk. I was not happy with the energy, and I was not ready to talk about these the spaces here and the spaces there and where to open the spaces. For me, it was about a ball win, second balls, about duels, and about sending signals and growing confidence, to let the confidence grow by energy and by ball wins and by more work, by higher work rate, and by closing players down and not being too reactive. So yeah, that was the signal to the talk, more or less.
A word about Thiago Silva, 37 years young next week. You said about his level of performance and also
outstanding,
the craft in his goal.
Yes, it is nice. He almost scored twice. He's so strong. The deliveries were good for his goals, and we are very happy that he was even able to score and open the game for us today. So, but performance even in first half was outstanding. Like fantastic performance, well deserved. He was outstanding today.
A big relief that Tony Rudiger managed to get in the ground, because when you first arrived, you didn't know where he was, did you?
Yeah, I didn't, and I was not concerned, but it's a bit strange when player arrives. He had some problems, he said, with his passport to come in, like with the online
COVID passport.
Yeah, the COVID passport, so okay. Yeah, it was like a bit also like this in the first half. We were there, but not fully there. We could have done better. We did not manage, I think, to have chances. Although there were the half chances and there were the deliveries, but we didn't manage to be dangerous. We were too sloppy. We were not sharp enough. And I'm happy that we are able to overcome these situations with luck and quality, and step up in quality in our match, because we needed to deserve a better result.
You said yourself the other day, look, we're not playing at our very best, nowhere near as yet, and you expected that this time of the season. But the points tally you have so far, that includes away games at Arsenal, Tottenham and Liverpool.
Yes. We are competitive, yes, and we want to be competitive. It's not an excuse to say we are not ready yet. We still can produce results. That's what we want at the club. What I want from myself and from the team. We want to win, and we are competitive on this level to win already. But we still have things to improve. The first half is proof for that. We struggle a little bit in the moment. Not everything is going easy, but it's not a bad thing. It's good to have these hard situations now and to overcome them and to fight through them. It's good, because we are able to produce wins, and we are able to produce deserved wins also in Champions League and the league, and it's a good basis to keep on going, because right now counts. It does not count what's in 3 months. It's now and tomorrow.
Great stuff. Well done today, Thomas. Yes. Thank you. No, really disappointing afternoon for yourselves. What did you make of it, and how the game unfolded?
Yeah, disappointed. The first half was very good. First half, I think we were very good, very good. The game had two halves, clearly. In the first half, I think we compete really well. We were the better team. We were in control, pressing high, creating situations. For 50 minutes, we all done until the first goal. After that, the game changed. Became very hard for the boys, very hard for us. Chelsea, a good team, good in possession, and create as many problems. But the first half, if there any positive,
do you think you caught them by surprise with your tactic, your front three pushing high? You had them on the back foot, particularly, as you say, for that first 30 minutes.
Yeah. I don't know if we surprised them, but the idea was that clearly we needed to start the match really strong, and we did it. We did it with really good pressing, recovering the ball, creating situations. The plan was to score. There was a chance. There were chances to do it. We didn't do it. But like I said to you, the first half, fantastic.
What changed from your point of view in the second half? They obviously made a tactical tweak. Why do you think you weren't able to respond?
The set piece, the goal really was disappointing. The set piece, the team after that struggled to recover the control of the game. And like I said, Chelsea is a mature team. They are organized, they have experience. It became very hard for us.
Should you have done better on the set piece, do you think?
Of course, we should have done better on many aspects. That's what we say. Since we started, we have a lot of things to improve. Even when we needed good results and good performance, we are aware that we have a lot to improve, a long way to go, and we keep on doing because the belief is here, the boys are working well, and we're going to push it.
Very different games, but that's back-to-back 3-0 defeats in the Premier League. How much of a worry is that?
Because the goals that you concede, but totally different games. That game of Crystal Palace is totally out of our memories. We have to realize that was a different opponent, and at our home, our fans deserved better. But I think in the first 45 minutes was huge for us. Was huge. Now we have to get the platform to keep on going and sustain these levels of performance through all the game.
Thanks, Nuno.
Thank you.
Interesting. First time in 10 years that Spurs have lost back-to-back games by a 3-goal margin. What did you make of what Nuno was saying?
Yeah, a bit disturbed, really, by talking about first half all the time. Obviously, we know a game is 90 minutes long, 95 minutes, whatever you want to put on for extra time. And I thought that in the second half, it was a really, really poor performance. 2 attempts on the Chelsea goal from Tottenham and 14 from Chelsea. Now, we can't put that just down to one set piece, switching off from a set piece. Yes, we talked about first goal is so important, but you cannot capitulate like they did, performance-wise. When he looks at it in a cold light of day, when the dust has settled, he will know that his team run out of steam. And if you're going to play on the front foot with the excitement of the crowd on a London derby, you're going to get plenty of those. And these Tottenham fans expect a performance, they expect an identity. They want the team to play on the front foot, and he hasn't been able to deliver that up till now. They tried to in the first half, and they did compete. I would admit they competed there, and I was really encouraged by it, but just couldn't keep it up. Couldn't keep up that intensity. And in contrast, Chelsea make changes. Of course, they've got world-class players. They bring on Kante in the middle of the park there, and he just increased their tempo. You know, he was driving forward from midfield. They just couldn't live with him. And the Tottenham players, their legs were just worn down. And unfortunately, any control what Nuno thought they had in the first half evaporated.
Where are you with Tottenham at the moment?
I'd be worried if I was a Tottenham fan. Since Pochettino, I mean, they were almost the glory years. And before that, you know, there's been some great teams in the past couple of decades at Tottenham. But I'd be really concerned. They've dropped out the top 4 and fallen out by a long, long way at the minute. The top 4 are miles clear of them. The only good thing that they've got at the minute is their stadium. It must be lovely for the fans to turn up every week, sit in a great stadium. But then as soon as the whistle blows, then that's when the fun stops, I think. I mean, they've got some great players. Harry Kane's a top player, but he's not happy to be there anymore, is he? He wanted to go, we all know that. So you've got a player that is your talisman, your best player, and he doesn't really want to be there. He's got to get his head back round to obviously being a Tottenham player. The managerial situation has never convinced me. I was never convinced by Jose Mourinho going in the first place. Just, you know, of course, a wonderful manager. But, you know, when something just doesn't fit right, this is Tottenham. You know, we all know, Tim's referred to it for many times. It's an attacking team, the Tottenham team. The fans expect, they've seen it for years and years and years, a brand of football. Now, Jose Mourinho was never going to deliver that brand of football. This manager is never, ever going to deliver that brand of football. He didn't at Wolves. it felt like there was not many managers on offer really at the end of the season when Jose left, and felt like Nuno was probably the third, fourth, fifth choice or something like that. I don't know, it just feels like a club that's going to be in a frustrating situation for a couple of years yet, until they get a few things sorted. Players-wise, I don't think they're the same team. Yes, they've got one or two good players, but do you know what? They've got a lot of average players as well in there. That midfield doesn't inspire me. Things like fitness, you can improve that in a couple of weeks, you know, that can get better, but just the quality of the players, attitude, quality of the players, it all goes hand in hand eventually. I'd be a little bit miffed if I was a Spurs.
But there should be an identity of how this football club plays, and that makes it easier for the recruitment team to bring in the players. You know, someone like Ndombele, he's used to playing on the front foot, he's used to having a breather, a team what rests on the football. That is not the case at the moment. He's playing there, as Glenn quite rightly says, Højbjerg should be the one sitting in the midfield there. They all ended up sitting there because they couldn't get forward. They couldn't get forward to support. And Chelsea had too much quality and too much energy for them.
Let's pause the Tottenham chat and talk Chelsea, because we're delighted to be joined live at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium by the captain, Cesar Azpilicueta. Thank you very much indeed for joining. Another London derby win. Must have been pleased with that second half performance.
Thank you very much. Hello. Of course, I'm very happy, especially with the reaction from the team in the second half, because the first half we were not at our best and we could arrive 0-0 at half time. And I think the second half was a very good performance from everybody.
And once Thiago Silva had scored, it really set the tone. You didn't seem in any danger after that.
Well, I think since the first goal, we clearly dominated them. We kept the ball better. We didn't make as many mistakes as we did in the first half when we were having trouble to move the ball and to control the game. We lost it too easy. And they are a good team. They have good players up front and they catch us in few counterattacks.
Cesar, Michael Owen, I was just wondering, we're all fascinated by Thomas Tuchel at the moment, and it's coincided with your performances being real top level since he's been here. What type of work? I mean, that team at the moment looks very, very efficient. What type of work is he doing with you?
Well, Thomas, he made it very clear since he arrived. Of course, it was nearly the end of January. We didn't have a lot of time to work on the pitch because his first training session was the day before a Premier League game. So we kept playing every 3 days, and he made a very good work with him and his staff to show and to explain clearly what he wanted from the team and individually, because that takes a lot of work, a great way of communication. And since he arrived, I think we created that identity that we kept improving, and I'm sure that we'll have to improve in the future if we want to keep winning trophies.
And are you feeling the benefit already early into this season of a pre-season with the manager as well? Because as you say, it was a whistle-stop meeting before you played that first game against Wolves.
Yeah, it's important to have time to prepare. Although we were few of us in the Euros, we arrived late, we didn't have a lot of time together, but we are a very huge group of players from last season, so we know each other. The new additions, they have adapted very quick, and we are very happy to keep working and keep improving, because what we did in the past is the past, and we have to look forward for the new challenges.
And you've got a terrific foundation. I mean, there you are, top of the league, but you've only conceded 1 goal in the first 5 games. I mean, how hard do you work on that to give yourself a foundation to win matches?
Yeah, it is very hard, and that's a huge credit for the strikers as well. They are the first ones who press and make the job easier for everybody. So that's how the team should work, from the top to the goalkeeper, the ones that they don't play, the energy, the day after to train, to have that healthy competition. I think is the key. That's what they brought us the success last season, and that's what we have to take care of it in this season, because I see a talented squad, an ambition between the team that we want to push forward, and that's what we have to do.
And at the other end, you've got 10 different goal scorers now after Antonio Rudiger today. You've scored 3 goals and Lukaku didn't score.
That's the news, huh? That's good that we have different options. Romelu did a different job tonight. He couldn't score, but it's important that we don't rely only on one player. Of course, Romelu is our main striker, but that we can. Today we got advantage through a corner, which is important to get sometimes the set pieces right, and is what we did today, and that those 3 points are massive in a derby that we know what it means for the fans as well.
And just finally, I know you've got a cup game in the week, but the next Premier League game is a mouth-watering one. The European champions taking on the Premier League champions.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a challenge that we have to take the best way we can, because they are the current Premier League champions. We know that we will have to be at our best level. We have to prepare well. We have a cup game on Wednesday, and then we will prepare the game on Saturday, because we have to go step by step. It's true that we had a good start of the season against tough opponents, but we have to keep working and keep improving as a team.
Cesar, we're really pleased to join us. Thank you very much indeed. Well done today.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you.
There you go, the Chelsea captain live for you from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Interesting insight from the manager, from the players' point of view about the manager as well.
He keeps a happy ship there, the manager as well, with so many world-class players, you know, and not all of them getting game time. I think they respect the fact that he knows what he's doing. He's got a clear identity of how he wants to train. He's got certain methods, what they have to stick by, otherwise they do not play. And I think he keeps them guessing who's playing from one week to the next. No one's guaranteed to play. Obviously, Romelu is a little bit of an exception because he's such an outstanding player. But he's introduced them back. Christensen's come back in. They've got a blend of youth and experience. We talked about Rudiger. Azpilicueta was out in the cold. You know, Chilwell, England international, can't even get a start. You know, you've got so many players there, and a lovely blend of youth and experience.
Pulisic's injured. We haven't even mentioned him. He hasn't even featured. When you watch that second half, and Chelsea, we mentioned it when the game against Liverpool, when they had the man advantage, they are so well coached and organised, aren't they?
Yeah, do you know they look horrible to play against? That's the thing. I mean, I'm picturing being Harry Kane there and thinking, don't fancy that. You're hardly getting a kick, and if you do get a touch, it's in areas you don't really want to be in, and it's hard enough trying to penetrate the back three. You can't even get near the back three. You can't even penetrate the midfield. I mean, that's the midfield three that finished the game. You know, it must be so difficult to get a ball through there into the striker's feet. So they're looking really, really efficient at the moment. They look like they can score. They don't look like they're going to concede. It's going to take a good team to stop them and then try to knock their confidence a little bit and see where it goes after that. But in this form, I mean, they look like they could be champions, absolutely.
I almost feel like we've taken you inside the Chelsea dressing room there. It was that insightful from Thomas Tuchel. You're in no doubt what he's told his players at half-time and indeed before the game.
I love him. I just think he talks from the heart, talks from the head. You're in no doubt that this guy knows what he's talking about. You see a lot of managers and they try to insult the intelligence of the fans looking in, and they spin it all of the time, and you can see through them. You know where the bodies are buried. There's no bodies buried here. This guy's honest. He knows exactly what he wants, and he don't mind telling people what he wants. You know, if you're talking about intensity, he wasn't happy with intensity. What do? You bring on the most intense player, probably the Premier League seen for a very long time, in N'Golo Kante. Automatically, the intensity is going to rise, because that boy will trigger it. Everyone follows then. They follow the man who he's just brought onto the field. Mason Mount is a very, very good player, but he wouldn't have burnt a bridge with Mason Mount today. Mason knows he needs intensity, so he's brought on. He could have said, well, why didn't you bring off Havertz? There's none of that. There's none of that dissenting towards the manager, because they know if they upset him too much, he's got so many players to choose from. They just keep leaving them out. I mean, that picture behind you there, that's Kepa. That's Kepa, someone who's not had he doesn't play, but he's got real respect for this guy. Huge amount of respect. When they're on the training pitch, the players can see through you. They know that he knows what he's doing. They know what he wants, and if they want to win trophies, they're going to stick with it and stick with this guy, because he's going to lead them to real glory. He's done it already with the Champions League. If I had to manage one squad of players, it will be this Chelsea's group.
Interesting. And when he speaks, Michael, there's real clarity. And I just wonder, you've spoken about this over the years, is he somebody you'd like to play for? Because you're left in no doubt what's expected of you and where you're going to be and what your job and role is.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I think in different positions, there's different rules. You know, very much so. When you're defending in a certain situation, you should be able to say, right, defender A should be here, you should be here, you should be there, because that's almost what defending is. When you get further forward, nearer the goal, then a lot of the time you're left to your own devices in many ways. That creative genius that you need to be a goal scorer, a goal creator.
But standards as well, I'm talking about.
Standards, of course, and you need almost a framework to work within. Yeah. A defender can almost be pinpointed, and you just tell them where to go and what to do. But then even an attacking play, even though you're giving them their head to be creative, they still need a bit of a framework to work in. And I think he certainly give them that. I mean, there's no player. We interviewed Cesar Azpilicueta a minute ago, and he says that everybody knows exactly what their roles are. And I mean, how impressive is he? His English is unbelievable to start with, and I think that really helps as well, coming into a dressing room and people thinking, wow, he's got the lingo straight away.
He got the Premier League straight away.
He got the Premier League straight away, and even that, just not complicating things. Sometimes it just needs a good hard tackle or someone pressing or a bit of energy, or people are expecting him to come onto the camera and say all these fantastic long words that all these other managers do, and you're like trying to baffle you with rubbish. It is a simple game, and just bringing someone off the bench because I didn't like the energy of the team is refreshing. It's so simple, but that's how easy it is.
And the way he manages superstars, I mean, he's had a good go at it because he's been at PSG. But listen, there's no favourites. It's not because Thiago's so experienced, he wouldn't be Azpilicueta because he's played so many games. These superstars, Lukaku coming into the squad, they know who the boss is. Yes, there's time to have a laugh and a joke, but when they're on the training field, it's to learn. It's to win and learn. They don't lose. They all win together, they all lose together. But he teaches them every single day. If any of these guys, like Azpilicueta, like all these aging Chelsea players, pick the brains of this guy now while you're here. Because if you want to be a manager, it wouldn't be bad taking a leaf out of this boy's book, because he is a top draw coach.